Hi, I'm Emily Hayes, senior writer with The Pink Sheet and Script. I'm here at the Biotech Showcase, and today I'm talking to Tony Liu. He's the CEO of Cellular Biomedicine Group, a company that develops immunotherapies as well as stem cell therapies. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Emily. How are you?
Good. How are you? Can you explain your approach to the development of CAR T therapies and what candidates you have in clinical stage development?
Sure. We are focused primarily in China. We just announced the first diffuse large B-cell lymphoma clinical trial in China. We also, as of this week, we announced also acute lymphoblastic leukemia clinical trial as well in China. Our approach, besides we then conduct the vigorous scientific research, preclinical studies, we emphasize a lot, and that really differentiates from the others in terms of the CMC process, also known as the manufacturing part of it. In fact, as of last week, we announced we have the capacity to potentially produce CAR T cells for 10,000 patients per year. By far, that's one of the largest in the world.
And so how do you achieve that?
We overall look at the Chinese population patients in general. There's two categories, and we are for lymphoma and leukemia, total about 400,000 patients. And look at CBMG as the market leader in the research. Then we are moving to clinical stage. So look at the time it takes to commercialization to get approval. We assume that as we move forward to conduct clinical trial rigorously, we want to make sure invest heavily ahead of time. We also know in this industry, because you're injecting live cells to patients, manufacturing is very important because that impacts the persistency, viability, as you do when you inject cells to the patient's body. So we make sure that your T cells effective. So that's where we invest heavily and make sure that differentiates and give us an edge.
And so is your ability to get so many patients enrolled in the trial, is that largely due to the large population in China, or do you have other recruitment strategies?
Well, as far as patient base, yes, in terms of population in China, any disease look as huge. Overall, in general, 5 million new patients per year in China. That is a lot of patients. So specifically for the leukemia and lymphoma, these two areas, that we are working with the best in the category, the PIs, the hospitals, so that ensures patients come along, and we'll make sure the process is in place first. The second strategy will be once we pass phase 1, which will be reported later this year, then we will be conducting multi-center, multi-clinical trials. We believe with the patients, so many who are lined up, and that which help us ensure trials on track.
And how do you ensure that the results will be also applicable to a U.S. population, and how do you address the U.S. regulatory standards in addition to the standards in your own country?
Sure, there are two aspects. One is that CBMG, at the moment, our focus is primarily for the Chinese market patients, because Chinese market is already at least 4 times more than U.S., purely based on population alone. But now, in certain categories, because for Asian population, Chinese population may be a higher occurrence rate for various reasons. So our focus is that being the number one, being the best in the Chinese market. That is number one. Number two, so our team primarily consists of the management and scientists from US and background and top researchers in China as well. So from that perspective, we want to make sure our design, our trial, executed strictly consistent to US standards. But at the same time, we are in the Chinese market, so we are working closely with the CFDA standards that make sure anything we do adhere to the local standards, be the sort of market maker, big sort of the setting standards as well in this industry, because we are the first company officially announced the strict the clinical trials based on new standards.
Can you comment on some of the safety challenges that have been reported with CAR T therapies and what that means for your approach to development?
Sure. Safety continue to be a concern, but at the same time, as we start to develop experiences that we feel at this point so far, this has not been a main issue. We also noticed that reported by some companies, but not all of it, that safety from the CRS, or also known as the cytokine release syndrome perspective, it comes with the efficacy. So it's not all in a sense of that totally worrisome if without CRS in this industry we know it's then efficacy. So efficacy and CRS you need to co-manage together. I think we feel like we after we've done enough study, after we work with the PIs, we feel we have a good process in place to take on this. That's not to say we don't treat this seriously. We treat it very seriously because CRS is one of the concerns we have to continue to monitor and make sure that doesn't become a major issue.
And you're also developing anti-PD-1 therapies. How do you improve upon the therapies that are so much further along in development?
Yes, sure.
And approved?
Yes. We actually, let me clarify, we primarily do CAR-T. We have, besides announced clinical trials for diffuse large B-cell lymphoma as well as acute lymphoblastic leukemia, we also have pipelines focused on other categories, indications as well. There's some in the pipeline look at the combination of what we call bispecific or bicars, but same time we also look at potential gene knockout that to do with CAR-T together. So it is a phase 1 where we look at these the indications, but phase 2 or potentially in the company, when I say phase 2, company development next step is working on the either combination with PD-1 or involving gene editing tools in that aspect.
And what other combinations are you looking into?
For instance, CD19, when we reported widely after you inject the patient with CD19, the patient started to have relapse. Therefore, we look at CD19 versus CD20, CD19, CD22, so that for those patients start relapse, do we have other ways of treating it? And so that's where we look at these. But also we look at combination as far as these are just for liquid tumor or no, but also the other tumors indications that some targets work well. Can we have those combinations together? So that's kind of a combination, or with the known as PD-1 as well.
It seems like most of the development has been focused on B-cell malignancies with the promise or hope for development in solid tumors. What do you think the potential is in solid tumors?
We're hopeful, all of us. I believe that with the liquid tumor, it's just tip of the iceberg at the beginning. All of us, scientific community, CBMG included, we deploy scientists, continue research, finding ways to get into solid tumor area. And I think that that will still take some time to come. I believe the CBMG is not alone. We will be working with other community, whether academic, whether in-house research capabilities. I think that solid tumor definitely is a long-term goals in everybody's mind, and we are very focused on that.
And can you discuss your targets for the next few years, 2017 and 18?
2017, at the moment, again, we announced DLBCL, LL. We will be looking at the CLL. We also look at the AML and NHL. These are predominantly still what we call in the liquid tumor category, because that's by far, so far from scientific research, from preclinical study, that's the area has shown the most efficacy. But we also look at the TCR-T, we also look at the gene knockouts and look at for certain indications solid tumors where we've seen signs of the efficacy. So for us, this year we probably look at, besides those already announced DLBCL, LL, look at NHL, the other subcategories of NHL, and also look at the MLL.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you for having me.